Welcome to the Weather Guru live podcast on the Hurricane Beryl update for 8 p.m. as of 8 p.m. Eastern Time. Hurricane Beryl, as you know, made landfall earlier today at 10 a.m. on the northern island of Grenada called Curacao, and is moving away from the Windward Islands now. It's approximately moving over 100 miles an hour away from the islands, and it's strengthened today. It's strengthened by 5 miles an hour. Maximum sustained winds at 155 miles an hour. This is the top end of Category 4, just barely missing in Category 5. Category 5 starts at 157 and above. Right now, it's about 575 miles east-southeast of Isla Beta, Dominican Republic, or about 910 miles east-southeast of Kingston, Jamaica. Okay, now the pressure has dropped even further to 938 millibars, 27.7 inches of mercury. The government of Jamaica has issued a hurricane warning, and this is the main thing that we're looking for. Tropical storm warnings, of course, and the southern coast of Dominican Republic and Haiti and Hispaniola, and those will continue to be in effect through tomorrow as well. Now, the system is still moving west-northwest at 21 miles an hour, so it's moving very quickly away from the Windward Islands, and it's continuing. Hurricane force wind field did not expand from the 5 p.m. advisory. It's still 40 miles from the center, where the hurricane, the most dangerous of the winds, can be found, those 115 mile an hour plus winds. So it still extends 40 miles from the center. That didn't expand, and the tropical storm force wind field did not expand either. It's still 125 miles worth of tropical storm force winds on either side of the nice donut-looking eye that we have here. I thank you for joining me here at the Weather Guru. Please be sure to subscribe. My name is Tony. Once again, we're talking about Hurricane Beryl, the 8 p.m. update, and it's making a beeline now toward Jamaica or just south of Jamaica. Sometime the worst impacts for Jamaica will be around Wednesday, sometime between early Wednesday morning, between 8 a.m. and after lunch, all the way to about 2 to 5 p.m. Wednesday. That's the worst impacts. Now, the latest tracks, the models are all in consensus here, as you can see, that this is heading toward the Jamaica first, Cayman Islands, and then over toward the Yucatan Peninsula, possibly making the second landfall in northern Mexico or southern Texas. That's yet to be seen. Those conditions, environmental conditions, have not been made clear yet by the models or by anything else as of yet. Now, here's the 5-day cone. The cone has shifted further to the south of Jamaica, and this is more in line, I guess, with the GFS model. It has the core of the storm passing just to the south of Jamaica. Now, this is going to be a very close call for Jamaica. Hurricane warnings have been issued, so that means that hurricane conditions are possible, meaning that you can experience hurricane force gusts in Jamaica. Those over 75, 80, or 90, or 100 miles an hour can be possible, especially from Kingston in the eastern parishes and also in the western parishes as well. St. Anne's and Montego Bay and Negril, you're going to experience some winds too. But it's going to be, the good news is for Jamaica, this is going to be a short-lived event, meaning that it's only going to be a one-day event or a one-afternoon event. So you experience the worst of it from about 2 p.m., according to this map, to about, it's going to take a couple hours to move past the island completely. So from 2 p.m. to about 9 or 10 p.m. at night, and that'll be over with. Things, the conditions will be improving, but tropical storm force winds will linger around Jamaica until Thursday morning, until late Wednesday night, probably around midnight. Things will start subsiding because the 125 mile wind field, the tropical storm force winds, are going to take some time to clear out now. So that's what we have going on here. It will remain a major hurricane through Tuesday and then Wednesday as well, and then this is going to start weakening to a Category 2 or below, just under Jamaica. So with that weakening also comes a structure change, and that's one thing that everybody's curious to as well, is how will the system look once it passes Jamaica. Obviously it's going to be weakening according to all the models down to a Cat 2 or below, but what we're all curious about is the level of weakening that will occur. So below Jamaica, we're looking at a Cat 2. So Cat 2 goes from about 95, 96 miles an hour up to about 111 miles an hour sustained winds in that eye wall, okay? Outside of that is tropical storm force winds. So Jamaica, that is a blessing that, it is not going to be a Category 5 or 4 or anything, but still a Category 2 is very formidable in terms of creating storm surge, in terms of flooding range that you're going to experience with this system, because Jamaica's mountainous in the center with the Blue Mountains, and then also, you have a lot of streams and creeks that could overflow with rain and cause mudslides and different things like that, or flooding. That's going to be a big threat too as well. But make sure you're prepared. The government of Jamaica's already issued a hurricane warning. They've told people to get prepared. It's better to be prepared with flashlights, batteries, water, and shelter, good shelter beforehand, than to not be prepared if this thing doesn't lose strength or doesn't lose steam or makes a closer direct hit into Jamaica, and that can be, can cause problems, obviously. Haiti and Dominican Republic, we don't want to forget about you. You have tropical storm warning, so that means you can have strong east-northeast breezes. First, it's going to come in from the east, and then east-northeast breezes up to tropical storm strength. You may have some hurricane gusts there, possible. It's not out of the question. It's still a major hurricane early Wednesday morning. So that's also, you want to stay away from the beaches. They're going to be elevated tides, elevated surf. Storm surge could be coming there anywhere from maybe 3 to 6 feet. Possible water level rise from the southeast. And then it'll switch over the wind to switch direction offshore, coming in from the northeast and blowing an offshore wind, and that'll push all that water back out into the Caribbean Sea. So that's what we have here. Now, the only changes so far with this 8 p.m. intermediate advisory, the speed has remained constant, west-northwest at 21 miles an hour, just that the increase in pressure, the increase in wind speed, the 155, so it gained 5-mile-an-hour winds, and it also, the pressure dropped to 938. Now, one thing I'm curious about too is, in the 11 p.m. advisory, that may be the peak of this storm right now as it pulls away, because it still is strengthening. As you can see in this last frame here, it still is strengthening. Now, I want to show you the wind shear effect here too. There's a chart I have here. Here we go. The wind shear. This is the wind shear that we're talking about. You see this red area right here? This is Beryl. This area, once Beryl is in a nice little pocket right now of favorable. Green is favorable wind shear. Yellow is neutral, and red is where it's unfavorable conditions for a hurricane to be entering into, at least right now. So as of right now, the upper level winds here are favorable for Beryl. That's why it's in there. So it's going to be in that period for another 12 hours of good favorable winds there coming up across the high cirrus clouds up the top, fanning out Beryl, the outflow pattern. So it's in a favorable environment right now for the next 12 hours. So don't be surprised if you see another little strengthening. It's possible it can hit category 5 because we got 11 p.m. We still got 2 to 3 more hours worth of time, and I believe we can gain that 5 miles an hour to hit 160 to be classified as a category 5. That's my personal opinion. I think this is going to be the first category 5 we're going to have in the month of July ever. As you can see, it has a great stadium effect eye, no central dense overcast in the eye. You can see right down to the seafloor just about, a little bit, but and you also have a tight convection around the center, and it's starting to take on that pinwheel shape. Although on the last frame here, looking at the structure, there is a little bit of erosion on the western side. The western side is the weaker side anyway, but you see there's a little bit more erosion of convection there. So it may already begin to start feeling those effects of that southwesterly shear. It's already started, but it's not enough to to hinder the system right now because the forward motion is so fast. It's moving a doggone 21 miles an hour west-northwest. And that's another thing that we're all curious about it. But you see that there. You see that little erosion there of the western flank of this storm as it moved forward here. But it still has that nice pinwheel shape. Incredible structure eye, incredible eye wall denoted by that deep white color. Those cloud tops are probably reaching 60, 70,000 feet in the air, and you see the views from the space station. If you go to NASA, you see the views that the ISS space station have had. It's just been phenomenal. So back to the current information here, ladies and gentlemen. Once again, that wind shear, back to what I was talking about, the wind shear is just unfavorable here. Now, Jamaica's right here. So just before it gets to Jamaica, it's going to hit that patch of unfavorable wind shear. So that's sometime early Wednesday morning. We're talking 2 a.m., possibly midnight. And that's when the forecast is expected to weaken down to category 2. Now, if this wind shear, for whatever reason, this favorable wind shear expands over Jamaica, then don't look for much weakening. It may still be a high-end category 2 or maybe category 3 coming in Jamaica, 115-mile-an-hour winds. It just depends on if this wind shear, pocket of wind shear stays there. Right now, they have it forecast to stay there. This red area right here below Jamaica, and that's shielding Dominican Republic and Haiti too as well. This is supposed to stay throughout Wednesday afternoon. So this unfavorable conditions for the hurricane is supposed to stay throughout Wednesday afternoon, but everything's dynamic in the atmosphere, as you know. But according to the latest model run, this is going to stay in this green area. So once it leaves Jamaica, it does have an opportunity to strengthen before getting to the Yucatan Peninsula if the forecast holds up. All of this 5, 10 knot, 15 knot, this is favorable wind shear working with the hurricane, okay, once it leaves Jamaica. So there's a chance that it could strengthen back up to a high-end category 2 maybe, or there's a chance that it could weaken back down to a Category 1 or maybe a tropical storm, depending on how it interacts with land in Jamaica and possibly, up into the Yucatan. So we'll just have to wait and see on that. But right now, this is the thinking, and that's why the Hurricane Center has dropped this down, the intensity down. Not right now, but they have dropped the intensity down on this storm after it leaves Jamaica in 72 hours down to 90 miles an hour, which is a Category 2, and then it'll be inland over a 70, have it as a 70 mile an hour, I guess, a tropical storm inland, and the inland is what they mean over here at the denoted at the Yucatan Peninsula here. All the models are lining up for that. A lot of this is uncertain out here, guys. Like I said, once again, there's a chance that it could turn to the north and head up into the eastern Gulf of Mexico. People say, oh, it's not possible. It is. If the high pressure breaks down, the subtropical ridge it's set in stone now, but if it breaks down, it can turn north and head toward the the Gulf Coast, like Louisiana over to Pensacola or something like that. Hurricane Ivan did that. The ridge was there up until Wednesday, Thursday. Then it broke down. Next thing you know, Hurricane Ivan made a beeline into the Panhandle and into Orange Beach, Alabama. So hey, that can happen, but right now we're not going to count our eggs before they hatch. We're going to go back towards what's happening right now with this system. Once again, it's 155 mile an hour, Cat 5. What we're really concerned about, Jamaica, they have a hurricane warning in effect, and because of that, here's what you can expect so far. If it comes in like the GFS model says, it comes in south of Jamaica, that means that all of the water, there won't be so much there'll be a storm surge, but it wouldn't be like a super heavy storm surge, because if you think about the hurricane rotating counterclockwise, if it comes south of Jamaica, the winds are going to be coming out of the northeast over and blowing. It's an offshore wind for those southern beaches of Jamaica. However, there will be a water level rise, and so there'll be a storm surge a little bit, but not as impactful if it was coming from a different type of angle, coming like hitting a direct hit, or coming coming across up to the north of Jamaica and pushing down on Jamaica. So that's the best case scenario. But right now, this is where it's going to be at. Cayman Islands, you look to be spared, at least Little Cayman, the Big Cayman Island. You will feel some effects from this system. Once again, it's going to be tropical storm effects, because I believe the center is going to be far enough away from you, because hurricane force winds only extend out 40 miles from the center. So it's a pretty compact storm, all things considered. But it's still huge in terms of, in terms of the wind field, the tropical storm force winds, which goes out 125 miles. So Cayman Islands, after early Thursday morning, this will be past you. The worst of it you'll get is from about 7 a.m. Thursday, as it's underneath you, and you get those strong northeast breezes and rain showers, squally weather, tropical storm conditions, and then it'll be gone from you by 2 p.m. It's well west of you, and you will be dealing with cloudy skies, some high cirrus clouds, and it'll be all said and done. Now, we are concerned still, if this model plays out, we're concerned about the Yucatan Peninsula, Belize, northern Belize there, Belmopan, northern cities of Belize, Mexico, of course, we're concerned. But by that point, it'll be a tropical storm, like they have it now, a 70 mile an hour, 50 mile an hour tropical storm coming into the Bay of Campeche, whatever's left of it, and then it'll make a run for northern Mexico, making that second landfall there, possibly. Now, the thing about this, guys, like I said, once again, is that there's two things that can put a wrench in the fork of the intensity forecast. Intensity is one of the hardest things to forecast when we have landfalling storms like this. Not landfalling, but when we have storms approaching the coast, is because you don't know where exactly it's going to hit, and you don't know how strong it's going to be, because it goes through eye wall replacement cycles, and it also goes through not just internal restructuring, but the environment around the storm plays a big part too. So yes, you may have warm water, but it can't tap into that warm water if there's high wind shear and if there's dry air above it, around it. You see what I'm saying? So right now we don't have that. We don't have the dry air around it, and we definitely don't have the wind shear. Obviously, if it's 155 miles an hour storm. Now, the wind shear is going to take effect, and I'll highlight that for you here. The wind shear is going to take effect here on the cone. That's going to be, the wind shear is going to be hitting it around so let's say 8 a.m. Wednesday morning, okay? 8 a.m. Wednesday morning, it should be affecting that wind shear. Now, if the wind shear forecast does not hold up, then all bets are off. This thing may actually still be a major hurricane going into Jamaica, a Category 3, going below Jamaica, I should say. Now, look at this plot. It looks like it's going to be very close. So it looks like they have it about, this is a rough estimate, about 60 miles south of Jamaica is where that eye or maybe possibly the heaviest part of the storm is, according to this plot. It may be 60 or 70 miles off the coast. So if that's the case, you're going to miss Jamaica. You're going to miss the worst of it, the worst in that northeast quadrant by only maybe 30 or 35 miles or so, according to this. Now, it's possible that you can get effects, but like I said, that's what I say, always prepare for the worst. So Jamaica, you definitely should prepare for hurricane force winds at this point, because you are under hurricane warning, and even if it passes to the south, you will be in the northern or northeastern eye wall or close to it, and you can get gusts at 90, 100, 120 miles an hour easily, because you're in that northern zone. You're not in the western zone or southern zone. You will be in that northern eye zone, or possibly northeastern zone, depending on how close it gets, according to this plot. Remember, this is just the plot of the center of the storm, so effects are felt well outside the cone and all of that stuff. So yeah, it's possible. I would prepare for that. As definitely, it's possible that Jamaica and Kingston, I will prepare for that as well. Montego Bay, Negril, I will prepare for that storm as well. Now, also, it's possible that the track, even though it looks set in stone, this could be changing. The Pacific track changes you need to look forward to is when after it passes Jamaica. So once it passes Jamaica around Cayman, sometime on Thursday, this track is going to change, or it's going to solidify, or even move up further north or northwest, possibly putting Texas or Louisiana into play, or putting the northern Gulf Coast into play somehow, because I just don't trust the two high pressures that are steering it above up north, especially this time of year. This storm is behaving more like a late September storm, where you have it come up through the Caribbean, then it gets into the eastern Gulf and makes changes, so I just don't trust the high pressure being that dominant, or being that, at this time of year. But it is possible. So the conditions are going to be going downhill for Haiti and Dominican Republic starting Tuesday afternoon. So about 6 p.m., 7 p.m. Tuesday afternoon, swells, heavy ocean swells, some gusty winds. You might get winds in tropical storm force, maybe 40 to 50 mile an hour gusts, maybe even 60 mile an hour gusts on the southern coast of Dominican Republic and Haiti. And they should be coming in initially from the southeast. And then as the storm passed by you, it'll change directions to the northeast, heavy northeast breeze, okay? And then by Wednesday, conditions should be improving for Haiti and Dominican Republic, and going downhill for Jamaica, sometime between 8 a.m. No, I'm sorry, not 8. Yeah. Between conditions will go down in Jamaica between 8 a.m. all the way through 5 or 6 p.m. Wednesday in the daytime. As it gets nightfall, dusk towards sunset, things start improving in Jamaica. And by 2 a.m., the storm is west of Jamaica by some 120 miles or so, 150 miles. So the conditions should begin to gradually improve, even though they might still be under tropical storm warnings. The warnings will be discontinued by Thursday morning for Jamaica, should be, according to this map. And then Cayman and the islands, and Little Cayman and Big Cayman, they'll experience some tropical storm conditions, but nothing. They'll get what Tobago got today, and what Barbados got. They'll get a glancing blow, a couple trees down, a couple power lines maybe snapped, things like that, to tropical storm conditions, okay? It shouldn't have much problem with storm surge there, and it shouldn't have much problem with flooding or anything like that. A few puddles in the streets, but nothing too crazy, according to this map. It'll still be a hurricane, somewhat a category 1 here as it passes through Cayman Islands, and then heads over toward the Yucatan Peninsula here, and then that'll be the last of the hurricane. Supposedly supposed to go into make landfall into Mexico as a tropical storm, and then come out on the Bay of Campeche. This is according to this, but this is uncertainty. The uncertainty begins from Thursday, Friday through the weekend, according to this forecast. That's why I shaded in this lighter color. The models are uncertain as to what to do with it. So we'll have to watch that carefully, because like I said, there's a number of different scenarios that can happen. It all depends on the high pressure above it breaks down or not. If it gets stronger, if we have a stronger storm, then it's going to go north. If we don't have a stronger storm, it's going to go right into west, into the as forecasted, right here into the Mexico-Belize border, and make landfall. So both options are on the table right now. We'll know more, like I said, once it passes by Jamaica, or it gets closer to Jamaica, and have a better idea, a better handle of it right now. So right now it's just pulling away from the Windward Islands here. Damage reports came out today. There were some folks online that had drone video of the Curacao landfall there in Grenada. A lot of roofs, over 85% of the roofs are torn off the homes. Of course, with a Cat 4, you got extreme winds, 140 mile an hour. They had flooding, power down, lights down, stuff like that. So it's they're going to have a long recovery process. Our thoughts and prayers are with Grenada and St. Vincent and the Grenadines. The Grenadine Islands there took the brunt of it for us there with this major hurricane here. And so, Barbados was spared. Tobago, Trinidad was spared. A few things down. St. Lucia was spared. Martinique, all those guys. They got some showers and some things, but nothing really nothing really pressing as bad as the middle of the Grenadines, the southern Grenadines, and Grenada. So that's what was going on there. And you can see here, it has not skipped a beat here in any of these frames. And now it's nightfall. Now expect peak intensity on the next advisory at 11 p.m. It'll be at its peak intensity. It might possibly hit Cat 5, as it's only 2 miles away from Cat 5. Cat 5 starts at 157 miles an hour. Storm right now is at 155 miles an hour. So I expect the Cat 5 designation for this storm at 11 p.m. and that'll be its maximum peak hurricane strength right there. Tonight at 11 p.m. I expect the Hurricane Center to designate it as a Cat 5 with 160 mile an hour winds. So 5 mile an hour winds is not much. It's going to go ahead and gain that as it's pulling away. There's no landmass interacting with it. There's no wind shear right now. It's in the perfect spot right now, and the models are all in consensus that it's going to go right underneath south of Jamaica by some 60 or 70 miles. So we'll just have to wait and see if that plays out. And we'll know more. Like I said, this track will be solidified here more. This track will be solidified more here. I'm pretty sure by Wednesday morning, they'll have a better idea, because the eye is going to be wobbling, south and north of Jamaica. The eye is wobbling. It's not a straight line like this. So they'll have a better fix on it by early Wednesday morning, when the hurricane hunters get out there about 5 a.m. and make that pass through it, and they'll have a better idea of the environmental conditions ahead of it. And that wind shear that we have forecast here, like I said, to be strong, moderate to strong, and that should break it down to a Cat 2 coming through Jamaica, probably with a 90 mile, 105 mile an hour storm, something like that. Max winds, instead of the 155, 160 mile an hour winds with much higher gusts. Mixed surface analysis shown in the U.S. here. You can see we have a trough here that's extended all the way down here to Georgia and down to Florida. And this is blocking high. This is the high pressure they're talking about. And then the Bermuda Azores high over here. So I believe that this high here I believe the Bermuda Azores high is going to move to the west, to the east. And the other high is going to move to the west, and the storm's going to be in the squeeze plate and come up through here, come north into the Gulf instead of going west. But I don't know yet. It's too early to tell, but that is possible. Sometimes we have frontal boundaries that come across the U.S. and sweep these storms that come up through the Yucatan Peninsula up and away out this way. But in this case, I don't see a frontal boundary here. I see a bunch of troughs and surface troughs. There is maybe a frontal boundary out here, but I don't know if it's going to get there in time. It's kind of out in the Rockies, and this is kind of like a monsoonal season for them. This high pressure, this monsoonal season. So I don't see a strong cold front or a strong frontal pass that's coming through right now that can maybe pick up the storm in time. We just have to wait till the weekend. Thursday, like I said, they'll have a better handle on that. But right now, this is a historical storm here in all aspects. The first Category 4, this is going to be the first Category 5, I believe. At 11 p.m., they're going to upgrade this to a Category 5. Right now, the wind's at 155. All it needs is 2 more miles an hour, 157 to be Cat 5. So it's possible that this can be the first Cat 5 we have in July, and the first Cat 5 ever in the Atlantic Basin this early. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is historical, and this is what we have going on here. This whole season is going to be historical. As a matter of fact, ladies and gentlemen, I just want to say this whole season reminds me of the 2004-2005 season. It got underway early too, but it didn't make a lot of landfall. The only difference between that was a lot of the earlier storms in 2004, 2005 in June that came in May and June didn't make landfall. They were subtropical, then they became tropical. They didn't make landfall in the continental U.S. or in the Caribbean basin at all. They were just kind of out to sea, and then that changed and all these big storms come. So this is the update. I just wanted to bring you that. Thank you for listening. I appreciate your support. Please be sure to subscribe, and we'll be back with more updates as they become available. Any questions you have, please leave them in the comments, and I'll be sure to answer them for you. Thank you very much. This is the Weather Guru signing off for the 8 p.m. advisory. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.